Welcome to Japanese Sleep Whispers, your sanctuary for peaceful nights and gentle dreams. Here, you will find calming bedtime stories inspired by the timeless beauty and traditions of Japan. Each story is read slowly in a soothing voice, accompanied by natural sounds such as flowing rivers and the tranquil rhythm of shishi-odoshi. Whether you seek relaxation, relief from stress, or help falling asleep, these tales invite you to drift away into a world of serenity. Imagine quiet temples, moonlit gardens, and the whispering bamboo forests as you listen. If you'd like these soothing stories to be part of your nightly routine, consider subscribing so they're always with you when you need them. Subscribe and let these stories be your nightly ritual of calm and rest. Thank you for being here. May you always find peace in every moment. Lantern light along the old street. Prologue: the lanterns that remember. Along the old street, where the stones had been worn smooth by centuries of unhurried footsteps, lanterns began to glow as evening settled in. They were not bright lanterns. They did not push the darkness away. Instead, they rested gently within it, like small, steady breaths of light. The street lay in a coastal town somewhere in old Japan, during the quiet years between the fading of Edo and the slow arrival of Meiji. Time here did not hurry. It walked softly, wearing sandals, leaving little sound behind. Wooden houses lined the road, their sliding doors closed for the night, their paper windows holding faint shadows of lamps within. The roofs curved gently, as if bowing to the sky. A canal ran beside the street, narrow and calm, reflecting the lantern light in long, wavering lines. Above, the sky was deep indigo. No stars yet, only the promise of them. It was said, though no one remembered exactly who first said it, that these lanterns remembered more than people did. They remembered footsteps that no longer returned. They remembered laughter that had drifted away with the seasons. They remembered the quiet wishes spoken under breath by travelers who passed through and never came back. And tonight, as the lanterns awakened one by one, they remembered you. Not as you are now, but as someone who had once walked this street without knowing its name, without knowing the future waiting beyond the next turn. The wind moved gently through the street, carrying the faint scent of salt from the sea and the warm, earthy smell of wood and old paper. Somewhere far away, a temple bell sounded once, deep and slow, marking the hour without urgency. This was a place where nothing needed to be decided. A place where nothing demanded your attention. A place that asks only that you walk slowly and breathe. As the lantern light stretched along the stones, the night opened its arms. And the story began not with action, not with conflict but with arrival. Chapter 1: Walking the Old Street at Dusk. You step onto the old street just as the sky darkens enough for the lanterns to matter. Your footsteps are quiet. The stones beneath you are cool, holding the memory of the day's warmth. Each step feels deliberate, not because you are careful, but because the street itself invites slowness. There is no hurry here. You wear simple clothing, suitable for travel, though the journey that brought you here already feels distant, like something remembered through mist. You are not tired in a sharp way, but in a soft one, the kind of tiredness that asks not for sleep yet, but for gentleness. To your left, the canal flows almost without sound. The water moves so slowly that it seems undecided about whether it is moving at all. Lantern reflections drift across its surface, stretching and bending, then slowly returning to shape. On your right, a small shop stands open, though no one is inside. The wooden shelves are lined with everyday objects: folded cloth, simple cups, bundles of twine. Nothing shines. Nothing calls out to be bought. The shop is simply there. You pause, not because you intend to enter, but because pausing feels natural. The air is cool now, brushing lightly against your skin. Somewhere nearby, someone closes a sliding door, the wood meeting wood with a soft, familiar sound. Further ahead, the street curves gently, disappearing behind a row of houses. Lanterns hang at even intervals, their paper shades painted with subtle patterns: flowers, waves, clouds faded enough that you must look closely to notice them. As you walk, you become aware of how the light changes everything. Shadows soften, edges blur. The world becomes less precise, more forgiving. Your breathing slows without effort. Inhale, exhale. The rhythm matches your steps. This street does not ask who you are or where you are going. It accepts you as part of the evening, no more important than the wind, no less welcome than the light. You pass a narrow alleyway between two houses. It leads away from the street, darker, quieter. You do not feel drawn to it, nor do you feel the need to avoid it. It simply exists, like many things in life that do not require your attention. Continuing forward, you notice a small shrine set back from the road. A simple wooden structure, modest and weathered. A rope hangs across the front, with white paper streamers gently moving in the breeze. A lantern glows beside it, lower than the others, casting light onto the ground where moss grows between the stones. You stop again, not to pray, not to think, just to stand. The shrine does not expect of you. It has stood here long enough to understand that presence is enough. Somewhere, a cat moves quietly across a rooftop. You hear the faintest sound of its steps, then nothing at all. The night accepts the sound and lets it fade. As you resume walking, the street seems to breathe with you. The lanterns sway almost imperceptibly, as if nodding in greeting. You begin to feel that the street is not leading you anywhere in particular. It is simply allowing you to walk. The farther you go, the quieter your thoughts become. Not because you force them away, but because they find no place to settle here. Concerns loosen their grip. Memories drift without forming clear images. What remains is sensation, the sound of your steps, the warmth of light on wood, the coolness of the evening air. Ahead, you notice a small bridge crossing the canal. It arches gently, just enough to lift you above the water for a few steps. A single lantern stands at its center. As you step onto the bridge, you pause once more. From here, you can see both directions of the street, the lanterns stretching behind you, and those continuing forward into the deepening night. The reflections in the water double the light, making it seem as though the street continues below the surface as well. Two streets, both quiet, both waiting. You rest your hands on the smooth wooden railing. The wood is cool and worn, shaped by countless hands before yours. People who leaned here without knowing they would be remembered only by the shape they left behind. A breeze passes, and the lantern flame flickers. Not enough to go out. Just enough to remind you that it is alive. For a moment long or short, it doesn't matter, you feel as though you are standing between moments. Between what has already passed and what has not yet arrived. The bridge does not rush you. When you step down on the other side, the street continues just as before. No change, no revelation, and yet, something within you has softened. The houses grow fewer here, spaced farther apart. The canal widens slightly, opening toward the unseen sea. The smell of salt grows a little stronger, carried on the night air. You notice a bench beside the road, simple and unadorned. It faces the water. Without thinking, you sit. The bench supports you easily, as if it has been waiting. The lantern nearest casts a gentle circle of light around you, not enclosing, just enough to exist within. You rest your hands in your lap. Your shoulders lower. Your breathing deepens. The street continues, lantern by lantern, into the night. You do not need to follow it yet. For now, sitting is enough. The old street does not mind. It has learned, over many years, that rest is as important as movement. And as the lantern light hums softly in the quiet, the night settles more fully around you, inviting you without words to remain. Chapter 2: The Sound of Water and Passing Time. You remain on the bench longer than you notice. Time, here, does not announce itself. It does not tap your shoulder or clear its throat. It simply moves, quietly, like the water in the canal beside you. The lantern above casts a steady glow. Its light does not waver now. It has found its balance with the night. From where you sit, the canal opens wider, its surface dark and smooth, broken only by slow-moving reflections. The lanterns along the street stretch across the water like a second sky, one that drifts instead of shining. You listen. At first, you think there is no sound at all. Then, gradually, you notice what has been there all along. The faint movement of water against stone. The distant hush of the sea breathing in and out. The soft creak of wood as buildings settle into the cool of the evening. These sounds do not demand attention. They do not interrupt thought. Instead, they carry it gently, the way a current carries fallen leaves. Your breathing falls into rhythm with them. In out, you realize that no one is watching you. No one expects you to move on. The street is content to hold you exactly as you are. Eventually, without decision, without effort, you stand. The bench remains behind you, unchanged, as though it will continue to exist whether you remember it or not. You step forward again, your feet finding the stones easily, as if they have already learned the path. The street narrows slightly, guiding you closer to the water. Lanterns hang lower here, their light brushing the surface of the canal and breaking into soft fragments. A small wooden boat is tied along the edge, rocking almost imperceptibly. It is empty. No oars. No cargo. It does not seem abandoned, only resting. You pause beside it. The rope that holds the boat is worn smooth, its fibers softened by years of use. It holds without strain. There is no tension in it, only a quiet purpose. You imagine the boat at dawn, moving slowly through mist. You imagine it at night, just like this, waiting. Neither image feels more real than the other. Further ahead, the street opens into a small square, no larger than a courtyard. In the center stands an old willow tree, its long branches hanging down like threads of shadow and light. A lantern is hung beneath it, illuminating the tips of its leaves. The leaves sway gently, brushing against one another with a sound like distant rain. You step into the square. The air feels different here, cooler, softer, as if the tree itself is holding the space. The stones beneath your feet are uneven, their shapes irregular, encouraging careful steps without insisting on them. You circle the tree slowly. Someone, long ago, carved a simple mark into the trunk. Not a name, not a date, just a shape half faded, its meaning lost. The tree has grown around it, accepting it without question. You rest your hand lightly against the bark. It is cool, solid, patient. The willow does not respond, yet somehow it feels as though it has acknowledged you. Not personally, simply as another presence passing through its long awareness. When you step away, you feel no sense of leaving something behind. The square has done what it needed to do. Beyond it, the street continues, now sloping slightly downward toward the sea. The lanterns grow fewer, spaced farther apart, leaving longer stretches of shadow between them. You walk through these shadows easily. Darkness here is not absence. It is softness. In the distance, you hear the low call of a night bird, brief and unhurried. It echoes once, then fades. The sound leaves no gap behind. The smell of the sea becomes clearer now. Salt and cool air, mixed with something old and mineral, something that has been here longer than memory. As you approach the end of the street, you notice a low stone wall overlooking the water. Beyond it, the sea spreads out, calm and dark, reflecting no lanterns, only the deep color of the sky. You lean against the wall. The horizon is barely visible. Sea and sky blend, separated only by a subtle shift in darkness. There is no moon yet. Just a wide, open night. You feel small here, but not in a way that diminishes you. Rather, you feel appropriately placed. The sea does not care who you are. The sky does not need your story. And in their indifference, there is comfort. A breeze moves across the water and reaches you moments later. It brushes your face, cool and clean. You close your eyes without thinking. Behind you, the lanterns continue to glow along the old street. Ahead of you, the sea waits, endless and untroubled. For a while, you stand between them. Between light and dark. Between movement and stillness. Between memory and rest. Nothing asks you to choose. Eventually, you turn back not because the sea dismisses you, but because the street welcomes you again. The lanterns seem a little warmer now, as if they have noticed your return. As you walk back the way you came, the stones feel more familiar beneath your feet. The rhythm of your steps is slower, deeper, almost like a lullaby. The night has thickened slightly, settling into itself. You sense that sleep is no longer distant. It is nearby, walking beside you, unannounced. The old street continues to guide you not forward, not backward, but inward toward a quiet place where thoughts dissolve and rest waits without form. And the lanterns, remembering all who pass, shine on. Chapter 3: A House with No Name. As you walk back along the old street, the space between lanterns seems to widen, not in distance, but in feeling. Each pool of light feels like an island of calm, floating in a sea of shadow. You notice, after a while, that one of the houses has its door slightly open. It is not the kind of open that invites curiosity. It does not glow brightly from within, nor does it hide in darkness. It simply exists in a state between, as if the house itself has not yet decided whether it is asleep. You slow your steps. The wooden frame of the door is old, polished smooth by countless hands. A paper lantern hangs beside it, smaller than the others, its light muted and warm. No sign marks the house. No name is written anywhere. It is just a house. You stand there for a moment, listening. Inside, you hear nothing. No voices. No movement. And yet, there is no emptiness in the silence. It feels settled, complete. Without quite deciding to do so, you step closer. The floor inside is raised slightly above the street, as is customary. You remove your sandals and place them neatly beside the entrance. The action feels natural, as though your body remembers how to do this even if your mind does not. You step inside. The door slides closed behind you with a soft sound, not sealing the world out, but gently setting it aside. The room is dim, lit by a single lamp placed low to the floor. Its flame is steady, casting slow-moving shadows along the walls. Tatami mats cover the floor, their woven surface cool and faintly fragrant. The space is simple. A folded futon rests against one wall. A low table stands near the center of the room, empty except for a small cup and a teapot that has long since cooled. There are no decorations, no personal belongings that speak of ownership. The house does not seem to belong to anyone. Or perhaps it belongs to whoever needs it. You move quietly, aware of the way sound behaves differently indoors. Each step is absorbed by the tatami, leaving almost no trace. You sit near the table. The lamp's light does not reach the corners of the room fully, allowing them to remain softly undefined. The ceiling beams are dark with age, their lines slightly uneven, shaped by time rather than design. You rest your hands on your knees. The air here is warmer than outside, holding the day's heat gently. There is a faint scent of dried grass and wood, comforting and familiar. For a while, you do nothing. No thoughts insist on forming. No memories press forward. The quiet does not demand reflection. It offers rest without explanation. Somewhere beyond the walls, the old street continues its slow breathing. Lanterns sway. Water moves. The night deepens. You become aware of the way your body feels. The weight of your shoulders is releasing. The slow loosening of your jaw. The gentle rise and fall of your chest. The house holds all of this without comment. At some point, you reach for the cup on the table. It is empty, but still holds the warmth of having once been used. You turn it slightly in your hands, feeling the smooth curve of its surface. There is no need to drink. The gesture alone is enough. You set the cup down. The lamp flickers once not from lack of oil, but as if acknowledging your presence. Then it steadies again. Time drifts. You lie down on the tatami, not yet unfolding the futon. The mat is firm but forgiving, supporting you evenly. You place one arm beneath your head and look toward the ceiling. The shadows there move slowly, almost imperceptibly, following the quiet dance of the flame. Your eyes grow heavy. The house does not rush you toward sleep. It simply allows it to approach. You think vaguely, distantly that many people must have rested here before. Travelers with no clear destination. Locals seeking a moment of stillness. Perhaps even people who could not remember why they had come. The house remembers none of them individually. It remembers only the act of rest. Outside, a lantern is extinguished for the night. Not blown out, but gently covered, its light withdrawn like a closing eye. Inside, the lamp continues to glow. Your breathing deepens further now. Thoughts stretch and soften, losing their edges. You feel as though you are floating not above the floor, but within the moment itself. Eventually, you reach for the futon and unfold it slowly. The fabric rustles softly, a sound so gentle it seems part of the silence rather than a break from it. You lie down fully. The futon is cool at first, then quickly warms beneath you. You pull the cover lightly over your body, feeling its weight settle just enough to reassure. The lamp's light dims slightly, or perhaps your eyes simply grow accustomed to the dark. The house remains awake, but only just. Like someone sitting quietly beside a sleeping friend. As sleep approaches, the old street outside fades from your awareness. The lanterns continue their vigil without needing you to notice. The house with no name holds you gently. And in that holding, the night deepens into rest. Chapter 4: Dreams Woven from Lantern Light. Sleep does not arrive all at once. It comes the way evening came to the old street slowly, without declaration, gently replacing one state with another. You are aware of the futon beneath you, the quiet warmth of the room, the low, steady glow of the lamp. And yet, these sensations begin to soften at their edges, blending like colors in low light. Your breathing becomes the slowest rhythm in the room. In out. With each breath, the house seems to grow larger and farther away at the same time. The walls recede, not by moving, but by becoming less necessary. The first dream does not feel like a dream. It feels like a memory. You are walking again along the old street, but now the lanterns are closer together, their light overlapping. The stones beneath your feet are smoother, as if polished by water rather than footsteps. There is no sound of your steps. You move without effort, without weight. The canal beside you is brighter now, reflecting more lanterns than you remember seeing before. Their reflections stretch and intertwine, forming slow-moving patterns that resemble woven fabric. Lantern light and water light become indistinguishable. As you walk, you notice that the houses no longer have doors. Their interiors are open to the street, but empty. Tatami mats lie undisturbed. Tables stand bare. The spaces feel peaceful, complete without occupants. You understand, without needing to think about it, that these are not places meant to be entered. They are places meant to be passed. Further along, the willow tree appears again, but larger, its branches reaching higher into a sky that now holds stars. The stars are dim and numerous, scattered evenly, like grains of salt. The lantern beneath the willow sways gently, though there is no wind. You stop beneath the tree. Its branches lower slightly, not touching you, but acknowledging your presence. The sound of their movement is like silk brushing silk. Beneath your feet, the stones give way to earth. Soft, cool. You feel it through the soles of your feet, grounding and reassuring. You sit beneath the tree. Time stretches. The lantern light above you begins to change, not in brightness, but in quality. It becomes warmer, deeper, as if infused with memory. Within the light, shapes begin to form. Not clear images, not faces, just impressions. The sense of people who once walked this street. The feeling of hands that once lit these lanterns. The quiet intentions with which they moved through their days. These impressions do not overwhelm you. They pass through the light the way clouds pass across the moon. You remain untouched, at ease. The scene shifts without transition. Now you are standing on the bridge again, but the canal below is no longer water. It is light, soft, flowing, endless. Lantern reflections drift through it like fish, slow and unhurried. You lean against the railing. Your reflection does not appear in the light below. Instead, you see fragments of movement, feet crossing the bridge long ago, sleeves brushing the railing, shadows pausing just as you are pausing now. The bridge remembers, even if you do not. A bell sounds somewhere, not the temple bell from before, but something lighter, more distant. Its tone is soft, almost like glass. With each echo, the world grows quieter. The stars fade. The lanterns dim. The bridge dissolves into darkness. You are not falling. You are drifting. Darkness here is not empty. It is full, thick, comforting. It wraps around you like a blanket woven from night air and silence. Within it, small points of light appear, lanterns again, but smaller, gentler. They float without strings, without poles, moving slowly as if guided by breath rather than wind. One drifts closer. You recognize it not as a specific lantern, but as the feeling of warmth on the old street. The sense of being guided without being led. It passes through you, leaving calm behind. Another follows. Then another. Each one carries something small and wordless. Release. Rest. Ease. You do not need to hold them. They move through you and continue on. Gradually, even these lanterns fade. What remains is a deep, steady quiet. You are aware again faintly of the futon beneath you, the house around you, the lamp that may or may not still be burning. These details drift in and out, like distant shorelines seen from a boat. Sleep deepens. Thoughts no longer form sentences. Images no longer settle long enough to be named. You are resting in a place without edges. Somewhere, far away, the old street continues to exist. Lanterns glow. Water flows. Houses wait. But you do not need to walk there now. For now, you are held by the gentle rhythm of breath and darkness. And the night, patient and kind, watches over you as you sink further into sleep. Chapter 5: The Deep Night Between Breaths. There is a space that exists between one breath and the next. It is not empty. It is not silent. It is simply wide. You are there now. Breathing continues, but you are no longer following it. The body knows what to do. The mind has stepped aside. In this deep night, there are no streets, no houses, no lanterns you can clearly see. And yet, their presence remains, as warmth left behind after a fire has burned low. You are aware of weight. Not heaviness, just the sense of being held in place, gently and evenly. The futon supports you. The floor supports the futon. The earth supports the floor. Layer upon layer, nothing gives way. Thoughts attempt to rise, once or twice, like bubbles from deep water. They reach upward, lose their shape, and disappear before reaching the surface. You do not follow them. In the darkness behind closed eyes, faint colors drift. Deep blues, soft ambers, hints of shadow moving through shadow. They do not form images. They do not need to. Your body grows warmer, then steadier, as if settling into the exact temperature it requires. Muscles release what they have been holding without being asked. The face softens. The hands rest open. The tongue loosens from the roof of the mouth. Even the smallest tensions dissolve. Somewhere in this deep night, you sense the old street again, but not as a place. As a rhythm. Lantern light becomes a pulse. Water becomes flow. Footsteps become breath. Everything moves in cycles. In, out, between. In this between, time no longer moves forward. It spreads outward, like ink in water, slow and even. You may sense a memory, something small, something unimportant. A fragment of sound, a glimpse of light. It passes through without attaching itself. Nothing stays long enough to matter. The deep night is kind in this way. It does not keep what you do not need. Your awareness grows dimmer, but not in a way that feels like loss. More like a lamp being turned down to its lowest, most restful glow. The house with no name fades completely now. Not because it is gone, but because you no longer need a place to rest. Rest has become the place. Breathing continues somewhere far away. Or perhaps it is everywhere. There is no center to find. If you were to search for yourself, you would not quite locate where you begin or end. The boundaries have softened too much for that. And this is comfortable. The deep night wraps around you, not tightly, not loosely, but exactly enough. It does not ask you to let go. It simply assumes that you already have. Lanterns, if they exist here at all, are no longer lights. They are moments of warmth drifting through a vast, quiet dark. One passes, another, then none. The space between breaths grows longer, wider, more complete. You rest inside it without noticing when you entered or how long you have been there. Nothing pulls you back. Nothing pushes you forward. You are floating, supported by something that does not need a name. Sleep deepens beyond description, and the deep night remains steady, endless, and kind, holding you there. Chapter 6. Before morning remembers your name. There is a moment in the night when it is deepest. Not because it is darkest, but because it is fullest. You are there now. Sleep has wrapped itself around you so completely that even the idea of waking feels distant, unreal, like a story told in another life. Your body rests without instruction. Your breath moves without sound. The world is reduced to the simplest rhythm. In-out. Between these breaths, something subtle begins to change. Not yet morning. Not even close. Just the faintest thinning of the night, like fabric worn soft by time. You are no longer dreaming in images. What remains are sensations without shape. a sense of coolness, far away. A suggestion of space, opening gently. A quiet awareness that continues without effort. Somewhere, very far from where you rest, the old street still exists. The lanterns have burned low now. Some have been covered for the night, their light folded inward. Others remain, faint and steady, keeping watch not for anyone in particular, but for the street itself. The stones are empty. The canal moves without reflection. The houses breathe softly in their sleep. The house with no name holds the quiet inside it. The lamp has dimmed, perhaps gone out entirely. The tatami mats keep their gentle warmth. Dust settles without being noticed. And you are not quite here. Not quite anywhere. You drift in a place where identity loosens its grip. Your name does not reach you. Your past does not call. Your future does not wait. There is only being. In this space, rest deepens not by sinking further, but by spreading wider. You feel as though you extend beyond the edges of the futon, beyond the walls of the house, beyond the street itself. Not as a thought, as a feeling. The sea at the end of the street breathes in the dark. Its rhythm is slow and vast. You sense it without seeing it, the way one senses the presence of mountains beyond fog. The sky above it lightens by the smallest degree. Not enough to be called dawn. Only enough to suggest that change is possible, someday. A bird stirs in its sleep. It does not wake. It simply adjusts, feathers settling, breath continuing. The world does not rush toward morning. It waits. Your breathing becomes almost imperceptible. The pause between breaths lengthens, not in strain, but in ease. In that pause, there is a deep peace, quiet, unremarkable, complete. If someone were watching you now, they would see only rest. Nothing dramatic, nothing unusual, but inside, something has aligned. The body remembers how to be held by the earth. The mind remembers how to be quiet. The night remembers how to let go. Time, which once walked beside you on the old street, has now sat down somewhere nearby. It is no longer moving. It is simply present. Lantern light, water sound, wooden walls, tatami floors, all of it has softened into a single sensation: safety. You are safe here. Because nothing can reach you, but because nothing needs to. Before morning remembers your name, before the world begins to form edges again, you remain in this gentle, nameless rest. Held, balanced, at ease, and the night continues to watch over you, quietly, until you are ready to move again, whenever that may be. Chapter 7. When the lanterns fade into daylight. Morning does not arrive suddenly. It never does on the old street. Instead, it begins as a soft change in color, barely noticeable, like a thought forming at the edge of sleep. The darkness lightens not by leaving, but by becoming something else. You are still asleep. Your breathing remains slow and steady. The futon cradles you, warm and familiar. The house with no name holds its quiet without effort. Outside, the sky shifts from deep indigo to a muted gray-blue. No sun yet. Just the promise of it. The lanterns along the street begin to fade. Not extinguished, simply no longer needed. Their paper shades grow pale, blending with the morning air. The flames inside dim, then rest, their work finished for the night. They do not regret this. They have always known when to let go. The old street stretches itself gently, like someone waking from a long rest. The stones cool beneath the open sky. The canal reflects the first hint of light, no longer gold, but silver and soft. A distant rooster calls once, then stops. The sound does not demand a response. It simply marks a moment. Inside the house, light slips through the paper window. It is faint, diffuse, and without direction. It touches the tatami, the low table, the folded edges of the futon. It touches you. Not enough to wake you, just enough to let you know the world is still there. Your body shifts slightly. A small movement. A deeper breath. Sleep loosens its hold, not unwillingly, not all at once. Dreams have already faded. What remains is a calm emptiness, clean and open. The house does not hurry you awake. It has learned patience from the street. Outside, a shop door opens quietly. Someone sweeps the stones with slow, practiced movements. The sound of straw against stone is rhythmic, steady, almost like breathing. Water moves in the canal. A boat is untied. It drifts a short distance, then settles again. Life returns, softly. You begin to wake, not fully, not yet. Awareness gathers like mist lifting from the ground. You sense the room before you see it. The warmth of the futon. The gentle light. The stillness that remains even as the night withdraws. Your eyes open slowly. The ceiling beams come into focus. The lamp is out now. The room is filled with morning instead. You do not feel rushed to rise. For a moment, you lie still, letting wakefulness arrive at its own pace. The calm from the night lingers, resting beneath thought, beneath movement. When you finally sit up, it feels natural. Unforced. You fold the futon carefully. The motions are unhurried, almost meditative. The house seems to watch, not with attention, but with quiet approval. You stand. The door slides open easily, and you step back onto the old street. Morning has changed it, but not erased it. The stones are the same. The canal still flows. The willow tree sways gently in the light breeze. Only the lanterns are different now, silent, pale, resting until night returns. You pause once more, just outside the house. There is no sign to mark it. No way to be certain it will be here again. And yet, you feel no need to remember it clearly. Some places stay with you without needing to be recalled. You put on your sandals. The street stretches ahead, open and calm. Behind you, it closes softly, holding the night within itself. You take a step forward. And with that step, the old street releases you gently, without ceremony, back into the day. The lanterns sleep. The stones wait. And somewhere, deep inside you, the quiet remains. A slow evening at a mountain ryokan. Prologue, where the mountain grows quiet. Evening arrives early in the mountains. The sun slips behind the ridgeline without drama, leaving the sky a muted blend of pale gold and cool blue. Shadows stretch gently across the narrow road that winds upward, following the shape of the land rather than cutting through it. Somewhere along this road, a mountain ryokan waits. It is not large. It does not stand out. It rests against the slope as though it has always been there, built not to dominate the mountain, but to belong to it. Tall cedar trees surround the building, their trunks darkening as the light fades. Their branches move slowly in the evening breeze, producing a soft, continuous sound like a long breath being released. A stone lantern near the entrance is lit as dusk settles. Its light is warm and steady, illuminating the moss-covered stones beneath it. The lantern does not shine far. It does not need to. This is a place meant for slowing down. Inside the ryokan, wooden floors absorb sound. Paper doors soften light. The air holds the faint scent of tatami mats, cedar wood, and distant steam rising from hot springs hidden among the rocks. Guests arrive quietly, one by one, as though they already understand the rhythm of the place. Shoes are removed. Voices lower. Movements become smaller. The mountain listens. It has listened for a very long time. And tonight, as evening deepens and the lanterns glow softly, it listens to you arriving not hurried, not tired in a sharp way, but ready to rest. The slow evening begins. Chapter 1: Arrival. As the light fades, you step through the entrance of the ryokan just as the last of the daylight slips away. The wooden floor beneath your feet is smooth and cool. It feels solid, reassuring, shaped by years of quiet footsteps. You remove your shoes and place them neatly beside the door, an action that feels less like a rule and more like a gentle transition. Inside, the air is warm. Not heavy, just comfortably still, holding the day's heat without clinging to it. A soft light filters through paper lanterns along the corridor, casting pale shadows that move as you pass. No one rushes to greet you. Instead, the space itself seems to welcome you. A low table near the entrance holds a simple arrangement of seasonal flowers. Nothing elaborate, just a reminder of what grows naturally here. A faint sound of water reaches you from somewhere deeper within the building, perhaps a stream, perhaps a bath being filled. Your footsteps are quiet as you walk down the hallway. Tatami mats line the floors beyond the wooden entryway. Their scent is subtle and calming, something between dried grass and sunlight. Each step feels deliberate, not because you are careful, but because the space encourages awareness. You notice how the ryokan is arranged. Rooms open onto a long corridor facing the mountain. Sliding doors remain closed, their paper surfaces glowing softly from the light inside. No sounds come from them. Each room holds its own quiet. At the far end of the hallway, a wide window frames the forest outside. You pause there. The mountains are already dark, their outlines layered against the sky. Mist gathers between the trees, moving slowly, as if undecided about where to settle. Somewhere, a bird calls once, then falls silent. The view does not demand interpretation. It simply exists. A staff member approaches with unhurried steps. Their movements are calm, practiced, shaped by years of welcoming without intrusion. With a slight bow and a gentle voice, they guide you to your room. You follow. The corridor bends slightly, following the shape of the building. Lanterns hang at even intervals, their light low and warm. The walls are simple wood, polished smooth by time. Your room is modest. A tokonoma alcove holds a single hanging scroll and a small ceramic vase. The design is minimal, intentional. The tatami mats are clean and even. A low table sits near the window, already prepared with a teapot and cup. The sliding door opens onto a narrow veranda. Beyond it, the mountain stretches into darkness. You set your belongings down and sit. The room feels settled, as though it has been waiting not for you specifically, but for whoever would arrive next. It does not ask anything of you. You pour tea. The steam rises slowly, carrying a soft, earthy scent. You wrap your hands around the cup, feeling its warmth spread gently into your palms. Outside, the forest shifts as the evening deepens. Leaves rustle softly. The air cools. Inside, the ryokan holds steady. You take a slow sip. The tea is mild, comforting, and unremarkable in the best way. It tastes like rest. You realize, gradually, that your shoulders have lowered. Your breathing has slowed. The mountain has begun its quiet work. Nothing else needs to happen right now. You are here. And the slow evening at the mountain ryokan continues. Chapter 2: The Sound of Steam and Cedar Wood. After the tea has cooled and the cup rests empty on the table, you stand and move quietly through the room. The sliding door opens with a soft sound, and the corridor welcomes you back with its low light and warm wood. Somewhere deeper in the ryokan, you hear the faintest hiss of steam, subtle, steady, almost like breathing. The path to the baths is clearly marked, though nothing about it feels instructive. Lanterns guide the way without pointing. The floor beneath your feet remains smooth, familiar, steady. You change into a simple yukata. The fabric is light and soft, loosely woven, allowing air to move freely. It rests against your skin without weight, without expectation. As you tie it closed, the act feels ceremonial in the quietest sense, less about formality, more about transition. From room to bath, from day to evening. The hallway opens into a smaller passage lined with cedar panels. The scent here is richer warm wood, faint mineral notes, something clean and grounding. Your steps slow further, matching the pace of the place. At the entrance to the baths, you pause. Steam drifts upward, visible in the lantern light. It moves slowly, curling and dissolving without urgency. The sound of water reaches you more clearly now, the gentle flow of a stream feeding the baths, the soft splash of water meeting stone. You slide the door open and step inside. The air is warm and damp, wrapping around you immediately. It is not overwhelming. It is welcoming, like stepping closer to a hearth on a cold evening. You wash quietly, the water warm against your skin. Each motion is simple, repetitive, and calming. The sounds of pouring water and gentle movement fill the space without echo. When you step into the bath, the heat embraces you slowly. You lower yourself in with care, feeling the temperature rise along your legs, your back, your shoulders. The stone edge of the bath is smooth beneath your hands. The water carries the scent of minerals and earth, subtle but unmistakable. You settle. Steam rises around you, softening the edges of the world. The lanterns nearby become hazy circles of light, their shapes dissolving and reforming as the steam moves. Beyond the bath, the night forest is visible. Dark tree trunks stand quietly, their outlines layered against one another. Somewhere, unseen, water flows over rocks, a sound both constant and never quite the same. You close your eyes. The heat loosens what the day held tightly. Muscles soften. Breath deepens. The body remembers how to release. Time becomes vague. You do not count breaths. You do not measure minutes. You simply exist in the warmth, held by water and stone. The mountain does not speak. It does not need to. Its presence is enough. When you finally step out of the bath, the air feels cool and light against your skin. You dry slowly, deliberately, the fabric of the towel absorbing warmth. Wrapped once more in the yukata, you step back into the corridor. The steam remains behind, drifting upward, continuing its quiet work without you. The hallway seems even quieter now, as though the ryokan itself has softened in response to the night. Lanterns glow steadily. Shadows rest where they fall. As you return to your room, you notice the change within you. Your movements are slower. Your thoughts are fewer. Your awareness is wider. The mountain has settled deeper into the evening. And so have you. Chapter 3 Dinner served without hurry. When the knock comes at your door, it is barely a sound at all. Just a gentle presence, announced softly, as though even the hallway is being asked for permission. You rise without urgency and slide the door open. Dinner has arrived. A low table is set neatly, each dish placed with calm precision. There is no excess, no decoration meant to impress. Everything rests exactly where it should, balanced and complete. You sit. The room feels warmer now, not from heat, but from the sense of being cared for without being watched. The lantern light is lower, deeper in tone, casting long, restful shadows across the tatami. You look at the meal. Small portions, seasonal colors, quiet simplicity, a bowl of clear broth, steam rising gently. A piece of grilled fish, its surface lightly crisped. A dish of vegetables, arranged without symmetry, yet somehow perfect. Rice, white and unassuming, waits patiently. Nothing rushes you. You lift the bowl of soup and take a slow sip. The flavor is mild, clean, and warming. It spreads gently, as the bath water did earlier, easing into you without effort. Each bite that follows feels grounding, nourishing quietly. You chew slowly, not because you are trying to be mindful, but because the pace has already been set for you. The mountain has no use for haste, and neither does this meal. Outside, the forest settles further into the night. The sound of insects rises and falls softly, like a distant tide. The window reflects the lantern light inside, blurring the boundary between indoors and out. As you eat, your awareness narrows pleasantly. There is only taste, only texture, only the simple act of nourishment. Thoughts do not intrude. plans do not form. The future remains far away, unbothered by your absence. When the last dish is finished, you rest your hands lightly on the table. There is no feeling of fullness that weighs you down. Only a gentle sense of having received enough. The staff returns quietly, gathering the dishes with smooth, practiced movements. There is a soft bow, a murmured wish for a peaceful evening, and then you are alone again. The table is cleared. The room feels larger now, emptier in a comforting way. The lantern light seems to breathe, expanding into the space that the dishes once occupied. You sit for a while longer. Outside, clouds drift across the moon, softening its light. The mountain holds the night steady, unchanged. Eventually, you rise and open the veranda door. Cool air slips inside, fresh and clean. It carries the scent of damp earth and cedar, faint and grounding. You step out onto the wooden boards, their surface cool beneath your feet. You look out at the dark forest. No path is visible, no destination suggested. The trees stand together, quiet and complete, as though nothing more is required of them. You breathe, in out. The night accepts the sound and lets it fade. When you step back inside, you slide the door closed with care. The room returns to its quiet glow, unchanged by your brief absence. The futon has been prepared now, laid out neatly, inviting without insistence. You sit beside it, feeling the evening settle fully around you. The slow evening at the mountain ryokan continues, drifting gently toward rest. Chapter 4: The Mountain After Dark. Night settles fully over the mountain without announcement. There is no sudden change, no clear moment when evening becomes night. Instead, darkness deepens gently, layering itself between the trees, along the slopes, and across the sky. Inside your room, the lantern light grows more intimate. Its glow no longer tries to illuminate the space. It simply exists, low and steady, allowing shadows to rest wherever they fall. The corners of the room soften. The ceiling beams blur slightly. You move slowly now. Each step feels smaller, quieter, as though the night itself is listening. You fold the veranda door shut completely, sealing in the warmth. The faint sounds of the forest remain distant insects, the occasional movement of leaves, but they arrive muted, filtered through wood and paper. You kneel beside the futon. The fabric looks inviting, smooth and clean, laid out with care. You lower yourself onto it, feeling the tatami beneath firm, supportive, familiar. For a moment, you simply sit. Your hands rest loosely in your lap. Your shoulders drop without instruction. The rhythm of the ryokan surrounds you, soft wood, still air, low light. Outside, the mountain breathes. The forest does not sleep all at once. It settles gradually, sound by sound. Insects pause. Leaves grow still. Even the wind seems to slow, as if mindful of the hour. You lie down. The futon welcomes your weight easily, adjusting beneath you. You pull the cover lightly over your body, feeling its gentle pressure settle you into place. Your breathing deepens. In-out. The lantern flame flickers once, then steadies again. Or perhaps it is only your eyes adjusting to the dimness. The mountain does not intrude on your rest. It simply holds the space around you. In the quiet, sensations become simple and clear. The warmth of the futon. The coolness of the air near your face. The slow, even movement of breath. Thoughts appear briefly small, incomplete, but they drift away before taking shape. There is no reason to follow them. Sleep begins to approach. Not suddenly. Not forcefully. It arrives the way mist gathers in the trees, gradual, gentle, inevitable. Your awareness narrows, then widens, then softens entirely. The boundaries of the room lose their definition. The lantern light fades into a general sense of warmth. Somewhere beyond your resting place, the mountain continues to exist unchanged, unhurried, deeply at rest. And you, held by wood and tatami and night air, begin to drift. The slow evening at the mountain ryokan moves quietly into sleep. Chapter 5 Steam, Stars, and the Edge of Dreams. Sleep does not close in around you. It opens. Like a door left ajar, as a window eased upward just enough to let the night air pass through, sleep invites rather than takes. You are aware of the futon beneath you, but only faintly now. Its texture has softened into sensation rather than detail. Your breathing moves slowly, deeply, each breath dissolving into the next. In-out. Between breaths, something begins to shift. You sense warmth again, not the steady warmth of the room, but the enveloping heat of the hot spring. It returns without effort, as if remembered by the body more than the mind. Steam rises around you, not seen, not felt on the skin, just known. The sound of water drifts through the quiet, gentle and continuous. It does not splash or rush. It flows in a way that suggests time has little meaning here. Above this imagined warmth, you sense the sky. Clear, wide, filled with stars. They do not shine sharply. Their light is soft, distant, spread evenly across the darkness. The mountain stands beneath them, solid and patient, a shape defined more by presence than by outline. You are both here and not here. The ryokan, the bath, the forest, they overlap, merging into a single experience of rest. Walls dissolve. Roofs fade. Only the sense of being held remains. The steam thickens, then thins. In its movement, faint shapes appear. Not images, not stories, just impressions. The curve of stone, the scent of cedar, the quiet echo of footsteps long gone. They drift past without asking to be remembered. You do not follow them. At the edge of sleep, thoughts lose their edges. They no longer form questions or conclusions. They simply arise, pause briefly, and dissolve. The body sinks deeper into rest. Muscles let go of the smallest efforts, the effort to hold the head, the jaw, the hands. Even the effort of breathing feels lighter, almost optional. In this softened state, the mountain feels closer. Not physically but in rhythm. The slow rise and fall of breath mirrors the unseen movement of the forest. The deep stillness of sleep matches the long stillness of stone. You drift. Stars fade into darkness. Steam becomes warm. Warmth becomes nothing at all. You cross the edge into dreams without noticing when it happens. There is no line to cross. No moment to mark. Only a deepening quiet that welcomes you fully. And the slow evening at the mountain ryokan continues now within you, now without words. Chapter 6: The Deep Night Beneath the Pines. There is a depth of night that exists only in the mountains. It is not created by darkness alone, but by stillness layered upon stillness, until nothing remains that needs to move. You are there now. Sleep has taken you gently, without ceremony. The body rests fully, no longer adjusting, no longer searching for comfort. Comfort has already been found. Breathing continues, slow and even. In-out. Between each breath, the world pauses. The mountain beneath the ryokan holds its shape in the dark. Pine trees stand quietly, their needles barely stirring. Roots press deep into the earth, steady and patient, remembering seasons far older than this night. You sense them not as images, but as presence. The pines do not watch. They do not listen. They simply remain. In this deep night, there are no dreams with stories. No scenes unfolding. No past or future drifting through. There is only sensation without name. A sense of depth. A sense of grounding. A sense of being supported from below. The futon, the tatami, the wooden beams, all of them are held by the mountain, and through them, so are you. Layer by layer, everything rests upon something else, until rest becomes complete. The forest has grown quiet now. Insects have stilled. Birds sleep without stirring. Even the wind seems to have paused, as though listening to the silence it has helped create. The night feels thick here, but never heavy. It wraps gently, like darkness woven from cool air and time. Your awareness dims further, not fading, settling. If a thought appears, it is already dissolving. If a memory stirs, it carries no emotion, no story. It passes like a shadow beneath closed eyes. You do not reach for anything. You do not need to. The deep night beneath the pines is a place without edges. There is no inside or outside, no separation between body and space. Everything blends into a single, steady calm. Breath continues somewhere, perhaps within you, perhaps within the mountain itself. It no longer matters. Time loosens completely now. It stretches so thin it becomes transparent. Moments do not follow one another. They rest side by side, indistinguishable. This is the quiet the mountain keeps for itself. A quiet that does not disappear in daylight. A quiet that remains beneath sound. A quiet that holds. You are held, not by hand, not by thought, by the simple fact of being here. Deep sleep settles fully, like snow falling without wind, covering everything evenly, without urgency. Nothing disturbs it. Nothing is required. And beneath the tall pines, beneath the steady ryokan, beneath breath and body and name, the night remains vast, calm, and endlessly patient. Chapter 7 Morning mist on the wooden veranda. Morning returns to the mountain slowly. It does not arrive with light at first, but with air. A subtle change moves through the forest, a soft loosening of the night, like a breath taken after a long rest. Cool mist gathers between the trees, drifting low and unhurried, wrapping the mountain in a pale, quiet veil. You are still asleep. Your breathing remains deep and even. The futon holds its warmth. The room is dim, filled with a gentle gray light that has no clear source. Outside, the ryokan rests against the slope exactly as it did through the night. Wooden beams hold steady. Roof tiles glisten faintly with moisture. The mountain accepts the morning without comment. Somewhere nearby, water moves. A stream continues its patient path over stone. Drops fall from leaves, one by one, uncounted. The sounds are soft, blending into the mist rather than breaking it. Inside your room, light reaches the paper window. Not sunlight, just morning. It spreads evenly, touching the tatami, the low table, the folded edges of the futon. It has no urgency, no direction. It simply lets the room exist again. Your body stirs slightly. A deeper breath. A small shift of weight. Sleep begins to loosen, but it does not leave all at once. It lingers, like fog in the trees, thinning slowly. You wake without opening your eyes. Awareness returns gently, without thoughts attached. You feel the steadiness beneath you, the quiet around you. The deep rest of the night remains, settled somewhere beneath movement and name. When your eyes finally open, the room feels calm and unchanged. The lantern is out. The air is cool and fresh. The silence remains kind. You sit up slowly. There is no rush to rise, no need to begin anything. For a moment, you simply sit on the futon, letting wakefulness arrive at its own pace. Then, quietly, you stand. You slide the veranda door open. Cool mountain air enters the room, carrying the scent of wet wood, earth, and pine. Mist drifts just beyond the railing, moving so slowly it seems almost still. You step onto the wooden veranda. The boards are cool beneath your feet, slightly damp from the night air. You rest your hands lightly on the railing and look out. The forest is close now. Tree trunks emerge and fade in the mist. Branches appear only partially, their outlines soften. The mountain does not reveal itself all at once. It allows itself to be seen gradually. You breathe in out. The breath feels clean, complete. Somewhere in the distance, a bird calls once. Then another. The sounds are gentle, tentative, as if testing the morning. The ryokan begins to wake in small ways. A sliding door closes softly. Footsteps move slowly along a corridor. Water is poured, carefully, without sound. Life returns, but it does not disturb the quiet left behind by the night. You remain on the veranda for a while. There is nothing to plan, nothing to remember, only this moment, resting lightly on the next. Eventually, you step back inside. You fold the futon with calm movements, each motion simple and familiar. The room returns to its daytime shape, but something of the night remains within it, an ease, a softness that does not disappear. When you prepare to leave, you do so unhurriedly. Shoes are put on. The door opens. The mountain waits. As you step out into the misty morning, the ryokan does not cling to you. It releases you gently, the way it welcomed you, without expectation, without demand. The slow evening has ended. But the calm it offered stays with you, settling quietly beneath your steps, beneath your breath, beneath your thoughts. The mountain remains behind you, unchanged. And somewhere within you, the deep rest of the night continues steady, silent, and always waiting to return. Wind through the bamboo forest. Prologue, where the wind learns to slow. The bamboo forest does not begin suddenly. It gathers. At the edge of a narrow mountain path, the air begins to change. The light softens. Sounds become thinner, stretched gently apart. And then, without noticing the exact moment, you are surrounded by tall green stems rising endlessly upward. Bamboo grows close together, not crowded, connected. Each stalk leans slightly, never standing entirely alone. Their smooth surfaces catch what little light filters down from above, reflecting it softly, without glare. The forest breathes. Wind moves through it slowly, learning as it goes. It does not rush here. It cannot. The bamboo teaches patience, bending just enough to let the air pass, never breaking, never resisting. Leaves whisper overhead, not loudly, not urgently, just enough to be heard if you are already listening. The ground beneath is cool and uneven, layered with fallen leaves and pale husks. Your footsteps make almost no sound. The forest accepts your presence without comment. This is a place where time loosens. A place where direction matters less than pace. And as the wind drifts through the bamboo, carrying the quiet of the mountains with it, the evening begins to settle not outside of you, but within. Chapter 1. Entering the green quiet. You step fully into the bamboo forest as the day begins to fade. The path narrows here, shaped not by design, but by years of gentle passage. It curves slightly, never offering a long view ahead. Each turn reveals only a little more, inviting you to stay in the present moment. Tall bamboo rises on both sides. Their height is difficult to measure. Looking up, you see layer upon layer of green fading into shadow. The sky appears only in fragments, small pieces of pale blue and gray, stitched between leaves. The wind moves again. It travels downward this time, slipping between stalks, brushing leaves together. The sound it makes is soft and continuous, like water moving over smooth stone. You walk slowly, not because the path is difficult, but because the forest sets the rhythm. Each step lands gently. Each breath deepens without effort. In-out, the air is cool and clean. It carries the scent of damp earth and green wood, subtle and grounding. With every inhale, the outside world seems to recede further, becoming less defined, less important. Somewhere deeper in the forest, a stalk bends and straightens again, producing a faint creak. The sound feels close, but not intrusive, like the forest adjusting itself around you. You pause. Standing still, you notice how the bamboo responds to the wind in waves. One section sways, then another, the movement traveling through the forest slowly, deliberately. Nothing moves all at once. Nothing needs to. Light continues to dim, but the forest does not grow dark. Instead, it becomes layered shades of green, gray, and shadow blending gently together. Your thoughts begin to slow. They arrive less often now, and when they do, they feel distant, unformed. There is nothing here for them to hold on to. The path continues forward, but you do not feel drawn to follow it quickly. Walking, standing, breathing, each feels equally complete. The wind passes through again, slightly cooler this time. Leaves whisper overhead, then settle. The bamboo returns to stillness without effort, as if rest is its natural state. You sense that the forest is not guiding you anywhere. It is simply holding space. And as you remain there surrounded by tall green stems, softened light, and the patient movement of air, you feel the first true signs of rest arriving. The wind through the bamboo forest continues. Chapter 2: The sound that has no beginning. The wind through the bamboo does not start. It is already there. When you listen closely, you realize there is no clear moment when the sound begins or ends. It simply continues, rising and falling in gentle waves, like breath that belongs not to you alone, but to the forest itself. You stand still on the narrow path. The ground beneath your feet feels cool and slightly uneven. Fallen bamboo leaves lie scattered in soft layers, pale and dry. They do not shift when the wind passes. They have already settled. Above you, the bamboo responds. Stalks sway just enough to acknowledge the air moving through them. Leaves brush together lightly, producing a sound that is neither sharp nor dull, something in between, steady and calming. You breathe in. The air feels fuller here, as though it carries more space within it. Each inhale seems to travel deeper, filling places that have remained quiet for a long time. In out, the wind changes direction. Now it moves sideways, threading its way between the stalks. The sound shifts slightly, becoming softer, more diffuse. It is like listening to the same melody played on different instruments. You begin to walk again. Your steps are slow and measured, matching the rhythm of the forest. The path curves gently, revealing new patterns of light and shadow with each step. No two moments look the same, yet nothing feels unfamiliar. Some bamboo stalks are marked with pale scars, small reminders of past seasons. Branches cut away, leaves shed and regrown. The forest holds these marks without judgment. Everything here has been shaped by time. The wind passes through you as well. You feel it brush your face, cool and light. It moves across your hands, then continues, carrying nothing with it, leaving nothing behind. For a while, you walk without noticing the passage of time. Thoughts appear only as fragments, half-formed ideas, soft impressions. They drift through like the wind itself, unable to settle. You stop again. The forest widens slightly here, opening into a small clearing. It is not empty. Bamboo still surrounds you, but the space between stalks is greater, allowing more light to filter down. The wind moves freely here. It circles gently, lifting leaves, then letting them fall back into place. The sound grows richer, layered, almost like many quiet voices breathing together. You sit on a low stone at the edge of the clearing. The stone is cool, steady, grounded. It has been here longer than the path, longer than the forest as it exists now. It supports you without shifting. You rest your hands on your knees. The wind continues. It moves above you. It moves around you. It moves through you. There is no need to listen actively. The sound enters awareness on its own, filling the space without effort. Your breathing slows further. In-out. Between breaths, there is a pause. In that pause, the sound does not stop. It becomes part of the silence, indistinguishable from it. The forest no longer feels separate from you. There is bamboo, wind, ground, breath all moving together in a single, unhurried rhythm. Light fades another shade. The green deepens. Shadows soften. The sky above is now a muted gray, barely visible through the leaves. You feel no urge to leave. The forest holds you easily, the way it has the wind. And the sound that has no beginning continues steady, endless, and quietly inviting you to rest within it. Chapter 3: Stillness between moving leaves. The wind softens. Not all at once, just enough that you begin to notice the spaces between its movements. Bamboo leaves still sway above you, but more slowly now. Their motion is gentle, unhurried, like a thought drifting without direction. The sound they make thins, becoming quieter, more spacious. You remain seated on the stone. Its cool surface grounds you, steady and unchanged. The stone does not respond to the wind. It simply stays where it is, offering stillness without effort. Around you, the bamboo forest settles. Stalks return to their upright rest, no longer bending as deeply. Leaves touch one another less often. When they do, the sound is brief and soft, disappearing as soon as it arrives. You breathe. In-out. Your breath feels wider now, slower, as though it has learned something from the forest. The pause between breaths grows longer, more comfortable. In that pause, you notice the stillness. It is not empty. It is layered. There is the quiet of the ground, holding fallen leaves. The quiet of the bamboo, standing together. The quiet of the air, waiting to move again. None of these silences competes with one another. They overlap gently, forming a single, calm presence. Light continues to fade. The forest is now wrapped in muted tones: deep green, soft gray, hints of shadow. Shapes lose their sharpness. Edges blur just enough to be forgiving. Your awareness softens with them. Thoughts no longer form complete shapes. They appear as faint impressions, then dissolve before they can become words. There is nothing here that requires naming. The bamboo above you creaks once, very softly, then grows still again. You do not react. The sound feels like part of the quiet rather than a break from it. The wind returns briefly, not as a movement, but as a memory of movement, a slight stirring, a suggestion of air shifting through the forest. Leaves respond with a gentle whisper, then settle. Stillness follows. This stillness feels different from silence. It feels intentional, complete, at ease. Your body responds. Shoulders lower. Jaw loosens. Hands rest open, unguarded. You feel supported from below, from the stone, from the earth beneath it, from layers of ground that have held this forest for generations. Nothing pulls your attention forward. Nothing calls you back. The path you walked here on feels distant now, not forgotten, just irrelevant. Direction has lost its importance. Only presence remains. You sit within the bamboo forest, surrounded by tall green stems and quiet air, held gently by stillness. The leaves above you barely move. The wind has learned how to rest. And within that rest, you feel yourself settling deeper into calm, into quiet, into a place where nothing needs to happen next. Chapter 4: Resting where the wind pauses. There is a place in the bamboo forest where the wind slows almost completely. It does not stop, it simply forgets to move for a while. You find yourself there without deciding to go. The clearing feels deeper than before, though it looks much the same. Bamboo rises around you in quiet balance, each stalk standing close to the next, sharing the weight of stillness. The air is calm, not empty, not heavy, calm in a way that feels deliberate. You are no longer aware of how long you have been sitting. Time has thinned, stretching gently until moments no longer follow one another in any clear order. Breath moves. In-out. Each breath is slower than the last, as if it is learning how little effort is required. The wind lingers high above, barely touching the leaves. When it does, the movement is small, just enough to remind the forest that air exists. A leaf turns slightly. Another rests against it. Then everything is still again. The bamboo does not demand attention. It does not reach. It does not lean. It stands in quiet agreement with itself. Your body mirrors this. The weight of your limbs settles fully. Muscles release even their smallest efforts, the effort to hold, to adjust, to remain alert. Gravity is no longer something to resist. It is something to trust. You feel supported by the stone beneath you, by the ground beneath the stone, by the forest that has been standing here long before you arrived. Thoughts drift by less frequently now. When one appears, it does not form words. It has no direction. It dissolves almost immediately, like mist touched by warm air. The pause between breaths grows longer. In that pause, awareness widens but softens. You are aware of the bamboo without seeing it clearly. Aware of the air without feeling it move. Aware of yourself without holding any sense of boundary. The forest breathes with you. Or perhaps you are breathing with it. The difference no longer matters. Somewhere far away, beyond the bamboo, the world continues. Roads exist. Buildings stand. Time moves forward as it always has. But none of that reaches here. Here, there is only the gentle balance between presence and rest. The wind remembers how to move, briefly. It passes lightly through the upper leaves, creating a soft, layered sound. Not a beginning. Not an ending, just a passing. The sound fades. Stillness returns, deeper than before. Your awareness begins to sink not downward, not inward, but away from effort. Like a leaf resting on water, no longer concerned with direction or depth. Breathing continues somewhere in the background. It does not need attention. It does not need guidance. It knows what to do. The bamboo forest grows quieter still. Even the sense of sitting begins to blur. There is no clear edge between body and ground, between self and space. Everything shares the same calm weight. This is the place where the wind pauses. Not because it must, but because it is allowed to. And in this pause, sleep begins to arrive not suddenly, not noticeably, but as a natural continuation of rest. Awareness dims gently. Sounds soften further, becoming texture rather than noise. Sensation fades into comfort. The forest remains, but it no longer asks to be noticed. You drift. No images form. No stories begin. There is only a deep, even quiet that holds you completely. The bamboo stands. The wind rests. And you rest with them. Chapter 5 When the Forest Dreams. The forest does not fall asleep. It drifts. Like a breath held gently, like a surface of water growing perfectly still. The bamboo forest eases into a state where nothing needs to move, yet everything remains alive. You are there. Or perhaps you are no longer there in any clear way. Awareness has softened to the point where it no longer gathers around thoughts or sensations. It spreads evenly, touching everything lightly, without holding. Breathing continues. In-out. The rhythm is slow, steady, almost imperceptible. Each breath arrives and leaves without asking permission, without needing attention. The bamboo stands in the darkened green. Light has faded to something close to memory. Shapes exist only as impressions. Vertical lines suggest stalks, but they do not demand to be seen. The wind moves somewhere far above. Not through the leaves, just near them. It is a presence rather than a motion, a quiet understanding between air and forest. The ground beneath you is warm now, or perhaps you have simply forgotten the sensation of cool. The stone, the earth, the layers below them all hold you without distinction. There is no clear boundary to your body. Arms and legs feel distant, as though they belong to the same stillness as the bamboo. The weight of yourself is evenly distributed, dissolved into rest. In this softened state, something subtle occurs. Not a dream, not an image, but a shift. The forest begins to dream in its own way. Not with stories or symbols, but with memory. The memory of wind passing through leaves countless times. The memory of rain touching green surfaces. The memory of sunlight filtered into fragments. These memories do not play out. They simply exist, layered beneath the stillness. You sense them faintly, the way one senses depth in the ocean without seeing the bottom. Breathing grows even quieter. The pause between breaths stretches, becoming comfortable, familiar. Nothing urges the next inhale. It arrives naturally, exactly when needed. Time has lost all shape. There is no sense of before or after. No sequence to follow. Moments do not pass, they rest. If a thought arises now, it does not stay long enough to become recognizable. It dissolves immediately, absorbed by the calm surrounding it. The bamboo forest remains steady. No leaf moves. No stalk bends. Yet life continues, quietly, deeply. You are part of that life now, not as an observer, not as a visitor, but as a presence resting among presences. The wind no longer passes through. It rests within. The sound that once filled the forest has faded into silence so complete it feels soft, almost warm. Sleep deepens, not like sinking, like floating without effort. Awareness dims further, edges disappearing. There is no need to hold on to anything. There is nothing to let go of. The forest dreams on, and within that dreamless dreaming, you remain unmoving, unburdened, and completely at rest. Chapter 6: Dawn without disturbance. Dawn does not arrive in the bamboo forest. It diffuses. There is no moment of change, no shift sharp enough to notice. Night simply becomes lighter, thinning slowly, like mist lifting without direction. You remain asleep. Breathing continues in its deep, steady rhythm. In-out, The forest accepts the coming morning without movement. Bamboo stands as it did through the night, tall and balanced, leaves resting in quiet agreement. Somewhere beyond awareness, the sky lightens. Not bright, not clear, just enough to soften the darkness that remains. The wind does not return. There is no need for it now. The air rests easily between the stalks, holding the calm that settled during the night. Light filters downward in fragments, touching leaves gently, never waking them. Shadows grow less distinct, dissolving rather than retreating. The forest dreams more lightly now. Not waking, not sleeping, existing in a state between. You remain there with it. The sense of self has faded to something distant and unimportant. There is no urge to move, no reason to rise. Rest continues uninterrupted, complete. Breathing remains slow. The pause between breaths stretches comfortably, filled with nothing that needs attention. Birds do not call yet. The forest is not ready to speak. Instead, there is only the soundless presence of morning, soft, even, and forgiving. The bamboo does not mark time. It does not count nights or mornings. It stands through them, unchanged in its calm. And within that calm, you remain held. If the body shifts, it does so without awareness. If the breath deepens, it happens naturally. Nothing breaks the rest that has settled so fully. Dawn spreads further. Green deepens. Shadows thin. But sleep remains intact. There is no line between night and morning here. Only a continuous quiet, flowing gently forward. You rest as the forest rests. You sleep as the light changes. And somewhere beyond thought, beyond name, beyond effort, the bamboo forest holds both night and day at once, allowing you to remain exactly where you are. Deep, still, at ease. Gentle waves of a coastal village. Prologue where the sea breathes softly. The coastal village rests at the edge of the water. Not where waves crash or cliffs rise sharply, but where the sea arrives gently, again and again, without effort. The shoreline curves slowly, shaped by years of patient movement. Evening settles here early. Lanterns glow faintly along narrow paths. Wooden houses stand close together, their walls weathered by salt and wind. The scent of the sea lingers everywhere, clean, familiar, and calm. The ocean breathes. In-out, waves roll in quietly, meeting the shore with a soft, rhythmic sound. They do not rush. They do not retreat quickly. Each one arrives, rests for a moment, and then fades back into the water. This village moves at the same pace. Footsteps slow. Voices lower. Doors slide shut gently, without hurry. The day releases its hold, allowing night to take its place naturally. Near the shore, the sound of water fills the air not loudly, but steadily. It becomes part of the background, a constant presence that requires no attention. And as the sea continues its gentle rhythm, rest begins to spread through the village, along the shore, and quietly within you. Chapter 1 Evening along the quiet shore. You walk along the narrow path beside the water. The ground beneath your feet is smooth from years of passage, small stones pressed firmly into place. To one side, the sea stretches outward, darkening gradually as the light fades. To the other, low houses rest in silence, their windows glowing softly. The waves arrive one by one. Each wave sounds slightly different, yet familiar. Some reach a little farther up the shore. Others stop short, dissolving quietly before they arrive. You match your pace to their rhythm. Step pause. The air is cool, carrying the scent of salt and damp wood. It fills your lungs easily, without sharpness. In-out. Fishing boats rest near the shore, tied loosely, rocking almost imperceptibly with the movement of the water. Their ropes creak softly, a slow, comforting sound. A lantern sways gently near the harbor. Its light reflects on the surface of the sea, stretching and breaking with each small wave. The reflection never stays the same for long, yet it never disappears. You stop walking. Standing near the edge of the shore, you listen. The village behind you has grown quieter now. Conversations have ended. Footsteps have faded. Only the sea continues to speak, in its low, steady voice. The sky above deepens into a soft blue-gray. Stars have not appeared yet. The horizon remains blurred, sea and sky blending without a clear boundary. Your thoughts slow. They no longer form complete shapes. They drift gently, like reflections on water, appearing briefly before dissolving again. The waves continue their patient movement. Arrive, rest, fade. You feel no need to move. The shore holds you easily, just as it holds the water. There is nothing here that asks for attention, nothing that pulls you forward. Only the sound of gentle waves, steady and unchanging, inviting you to remain. Chapter 2 Lantern light reflected on water. The lanterns along the shore glow steadily now. Their light is warm and low, never sharp. It stretches across the surface of the sea in long, trembling lines, moving gently with each passing wave. You remain near the water. The sand beneath your feet feels cool, packed firm by the tide. Small stones press lightly through your soles, grounding you without discomfort. The waves continue their rhythm. In-out. Each wave arrives softly, meeting the shore with a quiet sigh before easing back into the sea. The sound does not change much. It does not need to. Lantern light breaks apart as the water moves. Reflections stretch, thin, then gather again, never settling into a single shape. They remind you of how thoughts used to behave, appearing briefly, then fading before becoming fixed. The air grows slightly cooler. A faint breeze moves along the shoreline, brushing past you without urgency. It carries the smell of salt and distant seaweed, familiar and calming. You breathe more slowly now. In out. Behind you, the village rests. Sliding doors are closed. Footsteps have stopped. Somewhere, a kettle cools, left forgotten on a stove. Everything that needed to be done has already been done. Fishing boats rock gently. Their movement is subtle, almost unnoticeable, but constant. Ropes pull and relax in slow cycles, producing soft creaks that blend into the sound of the waves. You listen without effort. There is no need to focus on any single sound. They overlap naturally, creating a steady layer of quiet presence. The sky darkens further. Stars begin to appear not suddenly, but one by one, scattered faintly above the horizon. They reflect dimly on the water, joining the lantern light in soft fragments. Your shoulders relax. The weight you carried through the day feels distant now, unimportant. The sea does not ask you to explain anything. It does not require attention or response. It simply continues. Wave after wave, the water arrives and leaves, carrying nothing with it, leaving nothing behind. You stand there for a long while. Time feels less defined. Minutes stretch, blur, lose their edges. There is no reason to count them. Eventually, you sit on a low wooden step near the shore. The wood is smooth and cool, worn down by salt air and years of quiet use. It supports you easily. Your breathing slows further. In out. Between breaths, there is space. That space feels wide and calm, filled only with the sound of the sea and the soft glow of lantern light. The reflections continue to move, but you no longer follow them. They exist without needing to be noticed. The waves remain gentle. And with each one, you feel yourself settling more deeply into rest, carried by a rhythm that has no beginning and no end. Chapter 3: The Tide That Knows the Way Home. The tide is changing. Not quickly. Not noticeably. Only in the way the water reaches a little farther onto the shore before resting. Only in the way the sound deepens slightly, becoming fuller, rounder, more complete. The sea knows where it is going. It always does. You remain seated near the water, feeling the quiet certainty of its movement. The tide does not hesitate. It does not question its path. It follows a rhythm older than memory, guided by forces that never ask for effort. Waves arrive gently. They touch the shore. They pause. They return. Each one completes its journey without hurry. Your breathing follows. In out. The rise and fall of your chest mirrors the water almost perfectly now. There is no need to adjust. No need to match the rhythm consciously. It happens on its own. The village sleeps. Lanterns remain lit, but their glow feels distant now, softened by the dark. Windows reflect only faint hints of light. The paths behind you are empty, resting. A boat drifts slightly closer to the shore, guided by the tide. Its movement is subtle, almost imperceptible, but steady. It does not resist. It trusts the water to bring it where it needs to be. You feel that trust settling within you. There is nothing you need to steer. Nothing you need to control. Like the boat, you are allowed to drift. The sound of the waves grows more even. Not louder, more consistent. It fills the space around you without pressing in, a constant presence that requires no attention. Thoughts are rare now. When they appear, they feel far away, softened, like lights seen across the water at night. They flicker briefly, then disappear, leaving no trace. The tide continues to rise. The shore changes shape slightly with each wave, then returns to stillness. Nothing is lost. Nothing is gained. Only movement, followed by rest. Your body feels heavy now. Not weighed down, anchored. The cool night air brushes your skin lightly. The scent of the sea feels deeper, richer, as though it has settled into everything. In out. Between breaths, there is a calm that feels complete. The sea does not ask you to follow it. It simply shows you how to return. Again and again, it comes back to the shore, just as it always has. And in that repetition, there is comfort and assurance that nothing needs to be different. You sit with the tide for a long time. Time passes, but it no longer matters. The rhythm remains unchanged, carrying you gently, steadily, toward deeper rest. The tide knows the way home. And without effort, you feel yourself following, guided not by thought, but by the quiet pull of the sea. Chapter 4: The Long Night Beside the Water. Night settles fully over the coastal village. Not suddenly, not heavily, it spreads like a blanket laid gently across the land and sea, covering everything evenly. You remain by the shore. The waves continue their steady rhythm, unchanged by the deepening dark. They do not need light to find their way. They have traveled this path countless times before. The horizon disappears. Sea and sky blend, their boundaries soften until it no longer matters where one ends and the other begins. Darkness here feels open, never closing in. Lanterns along the village paths burn quietly. Their light is dimmer now, or perhaps your eyes have grown accustomed to the dark. Reflections on the water stretch longer, thinner, dissolving more easily with each wave. Your body rests more deeply. The weight of the day has fully released. Muscles no longer hold themselves in readiness. Even the small efforts, the tension in the jaw, the lift of the shoulders have faded away. Breathing remains slow. In-out. The sound of the sea fills the space around you, not as noise, but as texture. It is something you are within, rather than something you hear. Fishing boats rock gently. Their movement is almost imperceptible now, more imagined than seen. The water cradles them easily, allowing them to drift without concern. The village sleeps deeply. No voices carry through the night. No doors open or close. Only the quiet presence of wooden houses, resting after a long day by the water. You feel the night lengthen. Time stretches, loosening its hold. Moments blend, becoming indistinguishable. There is no need to track them. Thoughts have nearly disappeared. What remains is not emptiness, but fullness, a sense of being completely supported by sound, darkness, and steady rhythm. The tide has settled. It continues to rise and fall, but without urgency. Each wave arrives as though it has all the time it needs. Your awareness softens further. The edges of your body feel less defined. The space around you feels closer, warmer, as though everything shares the same calm weight. In this long night beside the water, nothing interrupts rest. The sea does not change its tone. The village does not stir. Everything agrees to remain as it is. You remain there, breathing, listening, resting, carried by the endless patience of gentle waves. Chapter 5. When the sea dreams. The sea does not sleep. It remembers. Beneath the surface, beneath the gentle waves that continue to arrive and return, there is a deeper stillness, one that holds every movement without needing to change. You are there now, not watching, not listening closely, simply resting within the rhythm. Breathing continues. In-out. Each breath is slow, unforced, arriving exactly when it needs to. The pause between breaths grows longer, more comfortable, filled with nothing that asks for attention. The sound of the waves softens further. Not quieter, smoother. It becomes a single, continuous presence, like the hush heard from inside a shell held gently to the ear. There are no individual waves now, only motion without edges. Your body has fully let go. Weight spreads evenly, dissolving into rest. Arms and legs feel distant, as though they belong to the shore itself, supported, unmoving, safe. Lantern light fades from awareness. Darkness does not replace it. Instead, everything becomes dim and even, without contrast. The village, the boats, the shoreline remain, but only as quiet impressions. In this softened state, the sea begins to dream. Not with images, not with stories, but with memory layered upon memory. The memory of tides rising under moonlight. The memory of countless evenings settling gently into the night. The memory of shores held patiently, wave after wave. These memories do not unfold. They rest. You feel them as depth rather than thought, as calm rather than sensation. Time no longer moves forward. It spreads outward, becoming wide and still. There is no past to return to, no future to approach. Everything exists in a single, unchanging moment. If a thought appears now, it dissolves instantly, like a ripple fading before it reaches the shore. The sea holds you, not physically but rhythmically. Its steady movement continues somewhere beyond awareness, ensuring that nothing needs to happen, nothing needs to be decided. Sleep deepens. Awareness dims to a soft glow, then fades further, until even the sense of fading disappears. There is no effort here. No intention. Only deep, complete rest floating gently within the dreaming sea. Chapter 6: Dawn that gently blends. Morning does not arrive at the coastal village. It blends. Night lightens slowly, almost imperceptibly, as though the darkness itself is being diluted by air. You remain asleep, undisturbed, breathing steadily. In-out. The sea continues its gentle rhythm, unchanged by the coming light. Waves arrive and return just as they always have, unconcerned with night or day. The sky softens. Not bright, not clear, just lighter enough that the darkness feels thinner, more spacious. Lanterns along the shore burn low, their light fading naturally as the morning grows. No one extinguishes them. They simply become unnecessary. The village remains quiet. Doors stay closed. Boats rest where they are. The world does not rush to begin again. You remain within sleep. There is no edge between dreaming and waking, no moment of transition sharp enough to notice. Rest continues, smooth and uninterrupted. Breathing remains slow. The pause between breaths is wide and calm, filled with nothing at all. Birds have not yet begun to call. The sea speaks softly for them. Light touches the water gently, spreading across the surface without reflection sharp enough to wake the eye. The horizon remains blurred, sea and sky still sharing the same space. You rest as the village rests, held by sound, held by rhythm, held by a calm that does not end. Morning continues to blend into the night that came before it, and sleep remains intact, deep, steady, and complete. The gentle waves of the coastal village continue their endless motion. And within that motion, you remain at rest.